What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We have another college football talk. This is going to cover week 8 and week 9. Week 8 was pretty eventful. I would say there was a record broken, a mainstream record. Coaches fired, of course, your upsets, and all that. Before we get to that, I just want to say I'm filming this on Sunday, so I have no clue who's going to the World Series. I know as time of filming this, it is 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays are winning, and so we'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping the Mariners go, but honestly, I'd be happy with either one going as long as one of them beats the Dodgers. So. Before we get started, no rhyme or reason for the 4 cards up here, just some good old Topps Finest. This is 2000 Topps Finest. Chris Carter, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, sorry if there's a glare, and a Torrey Holt. I just picked the 4 best players I had and went with it. So, week 8 picks, we did fairly well on Saturday. Fairly well. So Tuesday we went 2-1. Again, I'll only go over the ones I got wrong. Otherwise we'd be here forever. So FIU beat Western Kentucky 25-6, and it shocked me. So I had to make sure I wrote down the records: 5-1 to 2-3. Jack State beat Delaware 38-25. Thursday we got that game right, and then Friday we went 2-2. We got the Louisville Miami game wrong, which made Louisville ranked, which we'll get to that in a minute. And Minnesota took down Nebraska. Now, just because I don't go over the specific game doesn't mean something in it did not happen that I won't talk about. So Liberty drove 92 yards got the go-ahead touchdown win with a minute left to take down New Mexico State. So, I had a whole nother line. New Mexico State misses game-tying field goal with 1 second left, 30-27. Arkansas State drills a 38-yard field goal to beat South Alabama 15-14, 25 total penalties. So, I talked about these two, and that one, I covered it. Wednesday, Sam Houston comes up short versus UTEP, 35-17. They dropped to 0-7. Nothing really happened on Thursday. I mean, ECU, I think, beat them by like 2 scores. Louisville picks off Carson Beck 4 times in Friday's upset win versus Miami, 24-21. And then Minnesota upsets Nebraska 24-6. And sorry if there's a shadow here. It's what I'm using to hold my phone up, which is a cup. So I don't have a tripod anymore, and it didn't last too long. So we'll just have to make do. As long as there's not really a glare, then it's fine. So week 8, Saturday, there were 50 total games. We went 39-11. As you will see, most of the pink is in the circled boxes. Finally, we actually did well, and of course, there's 3 games on the back we'll get to. Vandy beat LSU 31-24. Vandy might be legit. That was kind of their gut check versus LSU. I didn't know how they would do, and they actually held their own. Central Michigan beat Bowling Green 27-6. Georgia beat Ole Miss 43-35. Kind of surprised with that one. Air Force beat Wyoming 24-21. Wild finish. I'll get to that. Coastal beat App State 45-37. Get to that one as well. Marshall beat Texas State 40-37 in double overtime. Ball State beat Akron 42-28. Arizona State beat Texas Tech for the big time upset 26-22. UAB upset Memphis 31-24. UCLA might be back. The 3 straight wins. Beat Maryland 20-17. On the back, we got the Stanford Florida State game wrong. That game was bonkers. I'll get to that at the end. But There were actually a lot of upsets. Now, I know I pick teams to win, and I hope my pick is correct. But at the same time, I'm hoping for upsets. That's one of the best parts about college sports is all the upsets. So we'll go through the list of important headlines. So we'll get through these. Vandy holds off LSU 31-24 for the first time. They beat LSU since 1990. Talking, 35 years? That's crazy. Diego Pavia, I mean, he's doing Vandy some good, although it's probably his last year. Michigan takes down Washington 24-7. Houston with a walk-off field goal versus Arizona 31-28. Julian scores 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes to beat Army 24-17. Georgia Tech beat Duke 7-0 for the first time since 1966. Buffalo scored a last-second touchdown versus UMass 28-21. Poor UMass. We'll get to them in a minute as well. Coastal Carolina scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to beat App State 45-37. Despite 20, now this might sound shocking, despite 20 first quarter points, you'd think you'd have a pretty good shot to win. Old Dominion gets steamrolled by James Madison 63-27. Not making that up. You can go check ESPN if you don't believe me. Boise State hands UNLV first loss, 56-31. Now, I expected that. Georgia gives Ole Miss their first loss, 43-35, with 17 fourth quarter points. Marshall beat Texas State 40-37 in double overtime. UAB upsets Memphis 31-24. That was Memphis' first loss of the season. SMU had a last-minute touchdown to beat Clemson 35-24 to seal the deal versus Clemson and Dabo Sweeney. Florida D lineman picks off Mississippi State quarterback to seal the win 23-21. Mississippi State was in field goal range. All they had to do was run the ball, kick a field goal, and they won. They threw the ball, got tipped. I think, if I remember correctly, got tipped by the D lineman. I think they said he's like 6'5", 360, like big boy. He picked him off. Arizona State got their first win versus top 10 teams since 2019 versus Texas Tech, which was Texas Tech's first loss, 26-22. Texas A&M hangs on versus Arkansas, 45-42. Close one there. Virginia had 12 fourth quarter points to beat Washington State 22-20. Washington State is so unlucky this season, but they're 3-4. They should be a bowl team regardless. We have like 7 weeks or so left of college football. Texas survives Kentucky in overtime with walk-off field goal 16-13. Arch Manning and his offense is terrible. I know the record and rankings says otherwise, but they honestly had so much hype coming into this season, and I kid you not, they had less than, I believe, 250 yards of total offense in the whole game versus Kentucky. So they need to get their stuff together. UCLA last second field goal to take down Maryland 20-17. Notre Dame holds off USC 34-24. Notre Dame might be back. They had a struggle at the beginning of the season, came back, and well, now they're doing pretty well. BYU hangs on versus Utah 24-21, stay undefeated. Missouri beat Auburn in double overtime 23-17. Oregon State finally got their first win of the season. I forgot to write the score, though. I believe it was 35-17. But Oregon State finally gets their first win of the season versus FCS Lafayette. And before I get to this, North Carolina almost beat Cal. They had a touchdown to take the lead, and he fumbled it in the end zone. Ruined it. So, North Carolina and Bill Belichick almost had a win, but couldn't get it going. And then Stanford, goal line stand versus Florida State, 20-13. Controversial. So, what happened was Florida State got the ball back. It was like, I think 20 or 40 seconds left. And I'm going to skip over some of the plays. And with, let's see, it was like 6 seconds left. They threw a Hail Mary and caught it. With 2 seconds left at like the at like the 10, 15-yard line. It might have been the 20. And so then, with 2 seconds left, they had to give them time to, stop the clock because it's first down under 2 minutes in the final quarter. Under 2 minutes, any first down stops the clock. So they had to stop the clock because it's first down. And so they got it and ran a play. Well, they threw it to the end zone and they called pass interference. And of course, the game can't end on a defensive penalty. So they had one untimed timeout, one untimed down. And so the quarterback snaps it. He's running. He gets to about, because they snapped the ball from like the 2 yard line, 2, 3, 4 yard line. He snaps it about the 2 yard line. He pitches it to the running back behind him, who gets stuffed at the line, at the goal line. Now I thought he was in, because the ball and his shin hit the ground at the same time. Now you could probably go watch it. Now I personally think it would have been a touchdown, but I'm not the referee. They might have just wanted the game over, or couldn't, didn't have enough evidence to overturn it because it was ruled short of the goal line. So we went total of 45 and 15 for week 8, which is 75%, which is better than last week's 68, 67%. And then we are 351 and 104 overall, which is 77%. Now, get through the goods. Undefeated teams who lost. There was a handful of them. Miami, UNLV, Ole Miss, Memphis, and Texas Tech. They all lost by one score, except for UNLV. Miami lost by 3, 24-21. UNLV lost 56-31. Ole Miss lost 43-35. Memphis lost 31-24. And then Texas Tech lost 26-22. Winless teams who lost again. Yes, there are still winless teams. Let's get that to focus. Hopefully this focused as well. If it didn't, I'll show it real quick. But yeah, winless teams who lost. Yes, there are still teams who have not won. UMass lost 28-21, oh so close, and Sam Houston 35-17. Now, I believe Sam Houston has the week off, so they have been saved this week. But, eventually somebody's gonna win, right? You would imagine. Bowl teams added. Got a whole big long list. I said 6-1 teams would make their appearance, and there was a whole lot of them. So you see the records. We'll just go through the list. I'm not going to go through the records because all you need is 6 wins and you're bowl eligible. So Houston, Vanderbilt, Tulane, Oklahoma, Georgia, James Madison, North Texas, Oregon, Virginia. Virginia football might be back. Hawaii. So Hawaii's also doing pretty good this season. South Florida, Cincinnati, Alabama, and Missouri. So there's your list of bowl teams added. And then week 9 AP poll. Not a whole lot going on this week. Your shifts, again, I try to keep it between 5 or more number slot moves. Georgia Tech was 12th. They are now number 7. Miami drops to number 9. They were 2. Vanderbilt, 17. Now they are 10. So they have cracked the top 10. Texas Tech was 7. They dropped to 14. Tennessee was 11. Now 17. And LSU was 20. 10, now 20. Yes. Okay. New teams to the AP poll. Louisville checks in at 19. About said Atlanta. Illinois back in, now 23. Arizona State, 24. And Michigan is back in at 25. 3 schools dropped. Nebraska was 25. Utah was 23. Memphis was 22. They're out. I doubt Memphis is going to be back in the top 25 the rest of the season. They're only really there just because they're undefeated. So, week 9 headlines. This also covers last week. Things that happened. A couple coaching fires. Colorado State fires head coach Jay Norvell, who was 2-5 this season, 18-26 overall. So I think couple seasons. Billy Napier fired from Florida Gators. He was 3-4 this year and 22-23 overall. Here's the record. I'm not joking when I say this. Division III running back broke the, I think, all-time rush yard with 20 carries, 522 rushing yards. Not all-purpose, rushing yards only. 7 touchdowns, 26.1 yard average. That was for Curry College, I believe in Massachusetts. So, whew, what a game. He better be buying his offensive line a good meal the rest of the season for that. All right, and some games coming up. Number 8, Ole Miss versus 13, Oklahoma. 18, USF versus Memphis. American battle there. American Conference, that is. 15, Missouri versus number 10, Vandy. 11, BYU versus Iowa State. 23, Illini versus Washington. 3, Texas A&M versus 20, LSU. 25, Michigan versus Michigan State. The Michigan game is back, finally. Been missing it. It should be a good game. Houston versus 24, Arizona State. And then UMass still winless, 0-7, and Sam Houston also winless, 0-7, but they had the week off. So, recap that real quick. Week 9 picks, and forgive my mental mistake. I put Wednesday and Thursday and so I had to put Thursday and Wednesday. But week 9 picks, again, we have games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for college, and the NFL is Sunday and Monday. So Tuesday, Kennesaw State should pick up a win over Florida International, and we're going to take Louisiana Tech versus Western Kentucky. I think this is the only second time I've not taken Western Kentucky. Wednesday, I think Delaware is going to pick up a win versus Middle Tennessee, and I got New Mexico State beating Missouri State. And then on Thursday, only one game, South Alabama versus Georgia State. We're going to take the South Alabama team. Friday, North Texas should have an easy win versus Charlotte. Charlotte's like 1-6 this season. Virginia Tech at home versus Cal. And I think Virginia Tech, they're going to play Inner Sandman. They're going to come out and kick some butt. And then Boise State versus Nevada should be an easy win versus Boise State on the road. Week 9. Yes, I forgot Wisconsin again versus Oregon. I should have just put it here, but yeah, whatever. I guess that tells you how much I'm ready for my Badger season to be over. So, again, as always, we start at noon, and I think the latest game is 10:15, Colorado, Utah. So, we're going to take Indiana versus UCLA. I think Indiana is going to put a big damper on UCLA's momentum. Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. Georgia Tech should win, stay undefeated. We're going to take Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma struggled versus Texas. I think Ole Miss can go in and pick up a win. We're going to take Virginia versus Bill Belichick and his Tar Heels. We're going to take South Florida versus Memphis. Just because South Florida's actually played good teams this year, Memphis has just kind of been, I think Nebraska's going to win against Northwestern at home. Rutgers versus Purdue. We're going to take Rutgers. And then SMU versus Wake Forest. Kansas versus Kansas State, another in-state rival. We're going to take Kansas, and then we're going to take Old Dominion to hopefully bounce back versus App State. And hopefully they do not give up 60-some-odd points. I'm going to take Bowling Green versus Kent State. I think Eddie George is going to pick up a win there. Ohio versus East Michigan. Ohio's pleasantly good this year for their standards. Auburn versus Arkansas. We're going to take Auburn to win that one. And then we're going to take Buffalo to take on Akron and win. Now, when I was doing this, I know I'm going to get one of these wrong because anytime I pick consecutive home or away teams to win, it always backfires. But UConn versus Rice, that might be the one that does me over. But we're going to take UConn versus Rice. We're going to take Utah State versus New Mexico State. We're going to take Alabama versus South Carolina. We're going to take Missouri on the road versus Vanderbilt. That might be the one that does me over. Vandy, I don't think, is as complete as Missouri. I looked at it. Diego Pavia is Vanderbilt's leading rusher and passer. So, I mean, all Missouri has to do is shut down the passing game, and then what do you do? Because their running back's not really all that good. BYU, we're going to take them versus Iowa State. Stay undefeated, and then we're going to take the Fighting Illini on the road versus Washington Huskies. Iowa At home versus Minnesota, we're going to hope they win there. Washington State should beat Toledo. No reason they can't. And then we're going to take the Panthers versus NC State. San Diego State at Fresno State. I think Fresno State could win, but we're going to take San Diego State. Southern Miss versus UM Monroe. Navy versus FAU. That could be a close game. We'll watch out for that one. I think Navy could win and stay undefeated. We're going to take Temple versus Tulsa. We're going to take Ball State versus Northern Illinois. And then we have a string of home teams. We got 5 of them. Central Michigan versus UMass. Not really a hard choice. Miami, Ohio versus Western Michigan. Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. Cincinnati versus Baylor. And then Mississippi State versus Texas. We're going to take all those home teams. TCU at West Virginia. We're going to take TCU to go in and win that one. Miami at home versus Stanford. Should be a good bounce back win for them. Arkansas State versus Georgia Southern should win there. I think Troy's going to beat Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Troy's been really good this year, actually. And then Oregon should just swamp over my Wisconsin Badgers. I mean, our starting quarterback, oh my goodness. He's our third string, and they just, I don't know, he throws so many picks. I can't. I'm not gonna rant about it because nobody really cares about Wisconsin. But I'm gonna take Texas A&M versus LSU. We're gonna take Louisville at home versus Boston College. Boston College needs a revamp in their program. Michigan versus Michigan State. We're gonna take Michigan, unless Michigan State pulls off the field goal catastrophe that they did a while ago. With the infamous call, oh, he has trouble with the snap and the ball is free. Michigan should win. Wyoming versus Colorado State. We'll see how Colorado State does with a new coach, but I think Wyoming can win that one. Tennessee versus Kentucky. Bowl should fairly easy win. And we're going to take Houston versus Arkansas State because Houston, well, why not? Why not? And then Utah at home versus Colorado. Colorado had their once a couple season upset last week versus TCU, or 2 weeks ago now. So we're going to take Utah. So that'll do it for this video, buddy. Before I let you guys go, if you are still here, just want to announce a couple passings from sports. Jesus Montero of the MLB has passed away due to a, I believe, motorcycle accident, and then vehicular accident, I believe, is what they're calling it. And then came out today that former running back Doug Martin, which I know most of you should know who that is, running back with primarily the Buccaneers, passed away as well from, I think, a motorcycle accident. Really strange, but that 2 athletes died of this, almost the same thing, so close. But yeah, so rest in peace to those athletes who probably put a smile on our faces at one point or another, and hopefully we don't lose anybody else anytime soon. So, till next time, guys. See ya.